teaching of that kind, teaching about abstention, clearly cannot lead to death from sex. But to say that AIDS is death from sex is, I think, to commit an obscenity. I'm sorry to have to say that the brothers and sisters of our society who have succumbed to that appalling disease did not die of sex or of their sexuality. And remember, homosexuality is not just a form of sex, it's a form of love. They died. That's interesting. I wondered what kind of a growl I might get there. Well, I'll repeat it then. Homosexuals practice not just a form of sex, but a form of love. If you can't live with it, I think you're the poorer. However, what they died of was a filthy virus which can and will be cured. And the clear implication of what Dr. Donahue said was that it was some kind of judgment on their sexual preference. I'm sorry I can't sit here, rather stand here, and take that.
Wait, I have to do this now. You've done
You
that.
go right ahead.
The third was the guy, it's mentioned in a great story by Irving Howe, which I think he borrowed from Isaac Singer, the man who stands on the wall of the shtetl, I think it's the town of Helm. And when the visitors come, he's always standing on the city wall looking out over the plains. And they ask him, well, what are you doing there, just standing there? And he said, no, I'm not just standing here. They pay me to stand here. Well, what do they pay you to do, standing there? Well, they pay me to watch out for the Messiah. And to tell and ring this bell when he's coming. And they say, so what's it like? He said, well, steady work.
That's true enough. That's true enough.
It's man-made, ladies.
It's man-made, yes. And the
It's important for me anyway to be able to say that I don't have to begin, as I would have if I was speaking for the church, with any apologies. We don't have a lot to apologize for. It wasn't we who framed Galileo. It wasn't we who said that God wanted the Crusades. It wasn't we who mounted the Inquisition. It wasn't we who sponsored Pavlich, Salazar, Mussolini, Dollfuss, Hitler, Vichy, Franco, and the rest of it. And it wasn't we who preached the Easter sermons saying who was responsible for the death of a mythical figure and creating ludicrous pain to real people in the real world. We don't have to begin by proving that our institutions and our beliefs are human, as all human institutions are, that we are only mammals, as His Holiness the Pope is only a mammal. We don't make a mystery when none exists. We say that we face the heavens and we find them empty, and that some of us, at any rate, are not alarmed to find this emptiness, and would be more alarmed to find the heavens full of permanent supervision and invigilation, and that an ethical life may be led by someone with no supernatural means of support, without the fear, if it is a fear, or the hope, if it is a hope, of celestial invigilation.
Religion is our first. That's why I'm so fascinated with it. It's our first version of the truth. It's our first attempt as a species. It's what we tried when we didn't know anything. We didn't know we lived on a spherical planet. We didn't know that our planet revolved around the sun. We didn't know that there were microorganisms that explained disease. We thought diseases came from curses or witches or ill-wishing or devils or dust devils. We didn't know anything from the childish, terrified, ignorant origins of our animal primate species. We come as origin. It's also our first attempt at philosophy, our first attempt at morality, our first attempt at healthcare, actually, but because it was our first, it is our worst. We now have better explanations for all these dreads, and we have cleared up all of these mysteries, yet we still dwell. And in some countries, in some societies, not just dwell, but live under a totalitarian regime that forbids us to think about the progress that has been made, or denies us the knowledge that these advances have in fact occurred. So it has become, where once it probably was an aid to our survival, a really great peril to our continued ability to live as a civilized species. And I'm not going to dilate about what their Muslim brothers say about us. When the Quran does not say that you may be killed for changing your religion, but the Hadith, the so-called sayings of the Prophet, which are taken just as seriously, do say that. So when someone says, I'm a Muslim, and I'm telling you, Mr. Rushdie, if you apostatize from this faith, you're dead, he's not misquoting the texts. Sir, he's not. He's quoting them accurately. I think, I'll phrase it as understatedly as I can, I think we could do without a lot of this. So the answer, I think, which is a very long process, will be a long cultural process, is to try and move people up to a cultural and intellectual level where they are above that kind of appeal, where they're not credulous, where they don't take things on faith, where they don't make gods or idols or images out of anybody, including fellow human beings, and they learn the pleasures of thinking for themselves. How about that for a modest proposal?
America is actually the country to which people came in the most of a hurry to try and find if that life could really be lived as a society. Some of them came to practice their religion freely. Many came to escape from persecution by other religions. Some came to be free from religion altogether. And that's why the Constitution is godless and doesn't mention the word, though it was not written by atheists. It was written by democratic theists and secularists. And that's why the meeting at Philadelphia, which decided these matters and decides them still for us, was a godless one, if not an atheist one. And that's why I think modern America should be a lot more anti-religious than it is, should pay less respect, make much less reverence to religion than its mass media, to which I'm coming presently, do. Read one page of Stephen Hawking about the event horizon, about the possibility that we will soon know not where the universe originated, but where it is tended, and the event horizon to which we may all be headed. There is more to inspire awe in one page of Stephen Hawking than in any of the fantasies of Tertullian, imagining that he could go to the window of heaven when he was promoted there and look down for his consolation on the torments of the damned. There's much more to be awe-inspired by in a page of Hawking than any number of burning bushes or other such myths. And should it not be believed, or at least affirmed, or at any rate not repudiated, that you should expect to suffer for this? That you should expect to be reviled? That you should be proud to be abused? That you will be told that what you believe is absurd? That you should be glad to hear it for his sake? That those who despitefully use you are to be expected? And isn't that a rather dignified position? A rather honorable position for the church to take? Something that even an atheist and humanist and Marxist like myself can understand and respect. But instead, what do we get? An endless whine of self-pity, of, well, why are they picking on us? They wouldn't say that about the Jews. An endless play on the ethnic politics and identity politics card, an endless appeal to self-pity, where you should be proud that you're in a fight for your politics and your church. And you seem instead to be resentful about it. And perhaps